Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy, he's down in Louisiana waiting for Barry, that storm down there. We'll get to that in a moment, sir. But first, on the topics of the day, Secretary Acosta will resign. Your reaction?
Well, I'm not sure it's the right thing to do, but that's Mr. Acosta's call. I do know this. It's a very unselfish act. I think he was worried that I just listened to his interview. I think he's worried that the press won't leave him alone on this ever, even though most of the facts, if not all of them, have come out, and he doesn't want it to distract from his work at labor. I think he's done a great job. I think the president is right. I hate to see him go, but I respect what looks to me like a very unselfish act.
I want to turn now to Bob Mueller. This has been delayed now. Breaking news coming in that July 24th is now the day that he is going to come in. Judiciary Committee had originally only allotted 2 hours. I believe they made that 3 hours in order to allow junior Congress members to ask their questions. But what do you think the reason is for this 1 week delay?
I don't know. I haven't met Mr. Mueller. They say friends of mine who know him say he's very smart. Maybe he's as smart as my friends say he is. All my Democratic colleagues are trying to do is pull Mueller into the middle of this and get him to take sides. And his job was to call it like he saw it. This is what he called and what he saw. No collusion. And on obstruction of justice, what he concluded was, I don't know. I'm not saying the president did it. I'm not saying he didn't do it. I just don't have enough to bring an indictment, and I'm not bringing an indictment. Now, that's what the Mueller report says. You can read it and draw your own conclusions, but that's kind of the bottom line. And I thought he was foolish to agree to testify, whether in front of a Senate committee or a House committee. If he wants to testify, this is America, it's a free country, but they're just going to try to pull him in the middle of this. My Democratic friends on the House side are trying to keep this effort alive, and they don't want the allegations about the Russia collusion to ever end. And at some point they have to end. And Bob Mueller, after an exhaustive investigation, I don't know, 2,000 subpoenas, a couple of thousand search warrants, I may be overstating it, but not by much, concluded no collusion, and he said, I couldn't make up my mind on obstruction of justice. It's done, as far as I'm concerned. The issue's dead as fried chicken.
What he has said is that he will stick to the 448-page report. But based on what we know...
Well, that's what he ought to do.
Here's the question. There are 2 committee meetings were scheduled, right? There's a House Judiciary Committee that's supposed to meet for 2 hours. House Intel Committee is supposed to meet for 2 hours in the afternoon. There are 22 members on the House Intel Committee. There are 41 on the House Judiciary Committee. And the last word we heard is that 22 of the 41 would be able to have their 5 minutes, and maybe that's extended, maybe it's not. I guess the question then becomes, do you think this happens at all, Senator?
Well, personally, you can teach it round or flat. I don't want to keep information from the American people. But the information's all in the report, and my guess is just a guess. I don't know. But it's just a guess. I think Bob Mueller may be as smart as people say he is, and he's thinking I'm getting pulled into a political trap here, and I'm thinking maybe I better exercise more wisdom than zeal here.
So we'll see in the end whether it happens. Ultimately,
it's up to Bob Mueller. But I can tell you what the end result is going to be, just a political food fight. And he's going to be right in the middle, getting smacked.
We're just reading here, getting some emails from our folks on the Hill. The last email we're getting from Chad Pergram, our producer on the Hill. It's getting confusing, writes Chad. Multiple members, including leadership, say they were told the hearing is being postponed. Security officials at the Hill are told they're being told it was delayed for a week. Democratic majority on Judiciary Committee sent the following. Here we go. Quote, at this moment, we still plan to have our hearing on the 17th, and we will let you know if that changes. end quote. So why don't we leave that there and be safe for the moment and talk about the reason why you're down in Louisiana? You got a storm coming your way.
Well, can I say one more thing about that? Yeah, can I say one more thing about Mr. Mueller? Look, it's his call, and I don't want to, if he wants to testify, that's his business. But if I were Mr. Mueller, and I'm not, and they said, look, we want you to come testify, do you have anything else to say? My response would be, the short answer is no, the long answer is hell no. Read my report. In terms of what's going on here in Louisiana, Bill, thanks for the question. Look, it's coming. The storm's coming. You can step outside and smell it. I've been through these many times. Unfortunately, you learn two things. The power of nature, every time, will humble the power of humans. Number two, if you're not scared, you're either a fool or you're a liar. We're as ready as we can be. It's going to hit in about 20 hours, right smack dab through the middle of the state. It'll be about 200 miles wide. Winds at 50 miles an hour. Biggest scare, though, is going to come from the water, 10 to 20 inches of rain, and the flooding. The president's been great. He called me early this morning. He's declared an emergency. FEMA's down here helping. Department of Homeland Security's down here helping. My people have been through it before. My people are you know, they're tough as a boot. We've got our protocols. We're ready, but you know, you got to respect these things. And if I said I wasn't worried, I'd be one of those fools or one of those liars.
Yeah, the big worry could be the water and the flooding with all the rain coming your way, too. You're 14 years removed from Katrina, and you look at those levees from 2005, and they were not up to standard. Are you better off now? Last answer on that, yes or no, Senator?
I think we are better off, but it's not just the levees, though we're concerned about them. It's just the water. If you get 10 to 20 to 25 inches of rain, you're going to flood. I don't care if you live on Pikes Peak. And my worry is that people will flood who aren't even near a body of water. I also worry about the levees. The river, Mississippi River, has been higher for a longer period of time than since 1927, and we can't take a lot more.
Yeah.
So
good luck, Senator.
If you're a praying, you're a praying man or woman, say a little prayer for us.
Thank you, sir, for your time. Our best to you and everybody down there. All right, Senator John Kennedy there in New Orleans. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, man.
Yep.